How AI is breaking Japan's job market. When you think about work cultures, Japan's is in a league of its own. For generations, a Japanese worker's life was built on a single powerful promise: a job for life. It was the unshakable pillar of their society, a guarantee of stability from the day you graduated to the day you retired. But that pillar is developing some serious cracks. A new, silent workforce is rising, one that doesn't need to sleep, never gets tired, and is rapidly making Japan's most foundational promise a thing of the past. This is the story of how artificial intelligence is forcing a cultural and economic reckoning that will redefine Japan's future. To really get the scale of this disruption, you first have to understand the system it's upending. For decades, corporate Japan ran on two main ideas: Shushin Koyo, or lifetime employment, and Nenko Joretsu, the system of promoting and paying people based on how long they'd been with the company. After World War II, as Japan was rebuilding into an economic giant, a powerful social contract was born. If you gave a company your unwavering loyalty, they gave you a job until you retired. Your career was like a predictable escalator. You got on as a fresh graduate, and you knew that every year your salary would tick up and promotions would eventually come. It was a system built on loyalty and just showing up, not necessarily on being a superstar innovator. This promise of stability became the bedrock of modern Japanese society. It's what allowed families to get mortgages, save for their kids' education, and build a predictable, comfortable life, all under the company's protective wing. The classic salaryman became the icon of this era, a symbol of diligence, yes, but also of incredible security. While the West often celebrated the risk-taking job hopper, Japan's culture was built on the quiet consistency of the company man. But what happens when the very definition of work starts to change and loyalty is no longer the most valuable thing you bring to the table? The cracks appear. Now, the idea of lifetime employment started showing cracks long before AI was a buzzword, but technology is now pouring gasoline on the fire. It's exposing and widening those fissures at an incredible speed. Japan is wrestling with two massive crises at once: a demographic collapse and a technological revolution. First, the demographics. Japan's working-age population has been shrinking since it peaked back in 1995, creating a massive and growing labor shortage. By 2025, companies are feeling this pinch in a big way. The country is aging fast, and there just aren't enough young workers to replace those who are retiring. This isn't some temporary dip. It's a structural problem that threatens the entire economy. And now, enter AI. For years, automation in Japan meant physical robots on assembly lines at places like Toyota. But this new wave of AI is different. It's smart software that can do the brainy, knowledge-based tasks that have always been safe in the hands of the white-collar workforce. For the Japanese government and big corporations, AI isn't some sci-fi fantasy anymore. It's seen as a critical solution to that crippling labor shortage. If you can't find enough people, you build machines to do the work. This collision of a shrinking workforce and smarter AI has created a tipping point. The old system, built for a world with plenty of workers and predictable jobs, just doesn't fit this new reality. So how does a business culture built on tradition and human labor survive when society is changing and AI is clocking in for work? A promise being rewritten. The part of the economy feeling this collision the most is the one that used to be the safest: the white-collar office. A university degree and a suit used to be a golden ticket to a stable, lifelong career. Now, that same career is directly in the crosshairs of automation. Think about it. So many office jobs are built around routine tasks like scheduling, processing invoices, and entering data. These are exactly the kinds of jobs that AI is designed to do. One of the first and most talked about examples was the insurance company Fukoku Mutual Life. It replaced 34 human claims processors with an AI system built on IBM's Watson. The AI could scan medical records and other documents to calculate insurance payouts, a job that used to take a whole team of people. The company figured it would save over $1 million a year in salaries and see a 30% jump in productivity. That was a massive wake-up call. The automation wave wasn't just for factories anymore. it had officially arrived in the heart of corporate Japan. The fallout from this is huge. Companies are being forced to change, shifting their focus from loyalty and seniority to skills and what you can deliver right now. Suddenly, older workers who were counting on their seniority to carry them to retirement are finding their positions are not so secure. Their decades of experience doing things the company way are becoming less valuable than new, adaptable skills they might not have. This rewrites the social contract that defined Japanese work for 70 years. The promise that loyalty will be rewarded is dissolving. It's being replaced by a much more precarious, almost American-style model where you're only as valuable as your current skills. This injects a level of uncertainty that is a huge cultural shock, creating a new kind of economic anxiety. The rise of freelancers, gig workers, and short-term contracts is a direct result. People are realizing the safest career path might not be inside the walls of one company, but in their own ability to constantly learn and adapt. The new playbook. While the end of the old system is jarring, it's also forcing Japan to build a new and maybe even more dynamic future. This isn't just a story about loss, it's a story of forced evolution. The Japanese government sees which way the wind is blowing. It's actively pushing a light-touch regulatory approach, hoping to make Japan the most AI-friendly country in the world to drive innovation. The strategy is to encourage companies to adopt AI while managing the risks. Its top-down push is creating a frantic demand for a completely new kind of worker. There's a bidding war for data scientists and AI specialists, with salaries skyrocketing. But it's also created a massive skills gap. A 2025 survey showed that 71% of Japanese employers were struggling with skill shortages, and an incredible 3 out of 4 professionals said their bosses gave them zero training on how to use AI in their jobs. The future clearly belongs not to the most loyal employee, but to the most adaptable learner. There's a potential upside here, too. This transition could finally start to fix one of the most brutal parts of Japanese work culture: overwork. By automating the boring, repetitive tasks, AI could free up people to focus on more creative and strategic work. This could lead to better job satisfaction and, just maybe, a healthier work-life balance. And as technology makes remote work and flexible schedules more common, it could open doors for caregivers and women, who have often been sidelined by the rigid corporate ladder. What seems to be emerging from the ashes of the old system is a more fluid and merit-based job market. The focus is shifting to what you can do right now, not how long you've been doing it. It's a move away from the culture some called corporate enslavement toward one that offers more freedom, even if it comes with less security. This is one of the biggest economic and cultural shifts happening anywhere in the world. If you want to keep exploring how technology is fundamentally changing our societies, make sure you subscribe for more stories like this. So what's the takeaway here? The story of AI in Japan is a case of creative destruction, textbook style. The promise of lifetime employment, once the foundation of an entire society, is being rewritten. This is causing real anxiety for a generation that built their lives on that promise. The nation is going through a painful reckoning with a system that just can't hold up against the unstoppable forces of technology and demographic change. But it's also the catalyst for an incredible reinvention. AI isn't just a job destroyer. It's a tool that could solve a crippling labor crisis, reform a grueling work culture, and build a more resilient economy. Japan is being forced to trade the rigid stability of the past for the dynamic uncertainty of the future. The road ahead isn't perfectly clear, but for the first time in decades, Japan's job market is being fundamentally redesigned, and the outcome will define the nation for generations to come.